What's that?
Okay, so Caleb and Brown, I don't know too much about it. I just know that it's a brokerage in Australia. And if you're gonna, get involved with cryptos, it's better to not be in the country that you're in for having any kind of tax consequence with capital gains. It's like you double your money, you got to pay the tax man at the end of the year, and then I'm sure the IRS doesn't look favorably on cryptos. You're probably going to get some sort of penalty one way or the other. So that's what I understand of Caleb and Brown. I know Dick Alghair loves them. I'm sure Cryptoviewing is all intertwined with Caleb and Brown one way or the other. So I know, Graham, that you said you know a lot about it. What's your take on it before we do the remote viewing on Caleb and Brown? Oh, you got to unmute yourself.
Is he muted?
Okay. Graham, you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, it's recording now.
Okay. Now I understand the whole thing about the tax thing. I don't really. I guess that's probably the issue about the Caleb and Brown being in Australia versus being in America. I don't know how that works out. You get taxed by America, Australia, both being American citizen. But I just went to follow them because crypto viewing. I knew a couple other people who did that because they want to prevent slippage. Because what happened in 2017 with the Bitcoin crash, a lot of people lost a lot of profits because they couldn't exit out. Even the ones who had a set exit, supposedly, not like want to rush to the proverbial bank wanting to sell, but they couldn't sell at all because they just, I don't know, they got pushed out. And because you gotta have so many buyers to sell your, crypto or stocks off. And when the tier ones got all the buyers, it dropped. And then the tier one players such as the OTCs and the big whales, and then the commoners such as us are last to get the sell in. So that's the whole point of Caleb and Brown, to prevent such, because the slippage could be up to 30%. And that's what happened, or even more so when it happened in 2017 when Bitcoin crashed from 20 grand.
And now you have like way more volume of different types of cryptos. So, if you're trying to get out of your Shibu or whatever, and there's definitely not as many buyers for Shibu or Dogecoin than there, or maybe Dogecoin, but like Bitcoin, there's enough market.
More so.
Right. Maybe Bitcoin is a little bit
starting
more.
To grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, to have a broker so you could put your sell orders in and you can rely on it being filled. I mean, I don't see how, that a particular broker can accomplish it, but I'm sure since that's all they do is act as a custodian for all those cryptos and all those wallets, I'm sure they've sorted it out and figured out the best they could, to prevent damage,
We've been doing it since 2018, and they've been, I guess, highly rated for, I guess they're part of some kind of association, several of them. So, I mean,
all that's nonsense.
But I don't know if that's the fact.
Yeah, me and Liz, we're also we're also highly rated too. on the association of spirit.
Yeah.
I don't know,
but I'm just saying that anything could happen. I'm not saying that they're the most legit, but big players been using them, and so it's like, okay, might as well. I mean, they've been around 2018, but
it's a great time to get into cryptos and to open up a firm. Everyone's Warren Buffett on a bull market like this.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So it's a great time to start, because if you got in back then, you probably 10x your money, right? One way or the other. So, and you know what always bothered me? How do hedge funds make so much money when the end user gets 6-7%, out of all that money? I mean, I know people with airplanes, with fancy cars, not just one or two of them, but they have It's like a little warehouse with what looked like 60 fancy cars, you know, all valued at, it's like, I'm looking at it like, are you just spending everyone's money that invests in your company? It's like, how do hedge funds make money, and then how do Caleb and Brown make money?
Well, let's find out. Let's find out
Yeah,
how
because
they make money,
Yeah, they
because
only supposedly they only make 3.5 to 5% on the sell and buys, and that's it. So yeah.
I feel it's more. I feel it's more. I'll be honest with you. The reason this whole video came about is because, first of all, every time Cryptoviewing puts something out, everybody comes running to Liz to verify what they're putting out. I don't know why they do that, but they do. And the Caleb and Brown thing, I have contemplated probably about a handful of times, and every single time red flags were flying in my gut. Now, I don't know why, but I just said, no, I can't do this, right? Because crypto is difficult to maneuver. It's easy to have somebody like Caleb and Brown buying and selling your crypto, holding it. You tell them when to sell, you tell them when to buy, you tell them what you want to buy. And it seems like really safe, right? But for some reason, every single time I got red flags flying in my gut, like big time red flags.
You know, it's just, I mean, that's what we want. We want the dirt. I'm sure they're a good company. So let's start with that. And I guess my first thought that comes to mind is, what broker is not going to have red flags? Like, what organization that says, give me all of your money, I'll hold it for you. Let me hold your money for a little fee. What organization can have excellent intentions? You know, that's like, I care about your money for you. In reality, they're in business, right? So from that perspective, they're trying to sell you to be in charge for a fee and make you feel comfortable, okay? And in reality, they're trying to make as much money for themselves as they can. So right off the bat, they're not, their very nature, right? The brokers in general, just not Caleb and Brown, but their very nature is like, their service is more of like sales. I don't know, how would you describe it? It's like they're trying to sell you on something, but they're really something else, like everything else in the world. So like, I guess what I'm driving at is, how bad can Caleb and Brown be compared to every other broker in the world?
Well, first of all, they're not, our brokers, because I don't know, I'm asking this question. Are brokers, crypto brokers, regulated? Are they? No. You see, I'm getting a no. They're not really regulated. They're not really, under any law, like the big wigs over here in the USA, Fidelity, Ameritrade, and all of that. I mean, they have to adhere to so many laws, so many trading laws. Our money is protected, but there, I'm getting no, your money is not protected. Now, my big concern is, and I can say this, I've got family in Australia. Okay. I have some cousins there, in the UK a long time ago. Australia needed more labor force. So they poached some English people to go over there. And my uncle was one of them. And, he had a family, and so my cousins are there. Now, I know without a shadow of a doubt, the taxes are so high in Australia. And yet you've got this firm operating in Australia, and you're telling me that if I put my crypto there, they sell my crypto, I make money, they've got my cash, and I'm not paying tax? Like, that's just huge for me. That just,
Well,
I mean,
well,
it's
we
like,
don't know with that. Well, the
but
thing
you're
is, we
not.
don't know. Well, you're also a foreign entity, so who knows if you could even be charged Australian. Maybe they operate out of Australia. Maybe the way they establish it, where they purchase the coin, is offshore. It's safe to say we don't know, and I'm sure having
We can ask.
getting involved with them is avoiding all kinds of tax consequence. All right, let's do it.
Okay, hold on. Let's ask.
Pull
I've got the CEO here, this Jackson Zhang. I'm looking at him. I've got a good connection with him. Do crypto investors pay taxes on their investments? No. See, I've got him. He says no. We avoid the taxes, right? How do you avoid the taxes? How would you avoid the taxes on the gains, the investment gains? They don't tell anybody what they have, right? Even though people know that have you been warned by the Australian government? They're on to us, right? That's where my red flag was. Okay,
There's nothing they can do about it, though. The government. There's nothing they
yes,
can
they
do about it.
Can the government come in and do something? Yes, of course they can. Have they threatened to come in and do something? No, but they're watching them heavily. Okay, but what can the government actually do to you? They can take us down. So right there, Jackson Zhang, CEO of Caleb and Brown, knows that the government can take them down. How can they take you down? He just showed me like a building boarded up and padlocked, so they can come and seize everything. Right there, you go. That's where the red flag is coming in.
Okay, wait. Because remember, if you don't ask the specific questions, you get different answers. If someone were to take my crypto that I have in not cold storage, but I have the seeds for it, good luck. I will take them to the death, because the seeds are what holds your possession of your wallet. There's no government that can take it. This is the magic of cryptos. If you have a bank account, they could take it. If you have, computers, they can take it. If it's encrypted, now they're stuck. And
yeah, but they can take their computer.
Is that what you're asking? You're asking about shutting down that company. You're not asking about taking Dick Alghair's cryptos. Can they seize crypto? I was like, that's a specific question. Now, right off the bat, I would say they're probably safe for the government. Dick Alghair, maybe this broker has a vulnerability with their local government.
But, can they come in and padlock it? So what I'm getting is that they're not.
You're breaking up.
Can't hear you, Liz.
We lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Sorry, we've got terrible weather here today, and I'm supposed to take my kids trick-or-treating this morning. It's just awful outside. So that's the problem. The problem is that they know how the government operates. What I'm getting from this Jackson Zhang is they would come without warning, throw everybody out, seize everything, padlock the building, and board it up, right? That's what I'm getting. And what can you do about that? Are the customers protected? No. How would the government seize the cryptos? They can't seize the cryptos. Okay, he said they can't seize the cryptos, but how would this hurt? How would this hurt the investors? Because there wouldn't be anything that they can do, right? The Australian government has the right to seize all of their computers, all of their files, everything. Is everything on digital file? No. Okay, so you do have a paper filing system at some point? Yes. Okay, they do have a backup paper filing system. Have you been hacked? Many times. Okay, do you have a IT person that is pretty good, that can prevent the hacks? We try our best. Has anybody hacked into your computer systems and taken cryptos? Yes.
Wait. This is the line of questioning is it's not.
They've seized wallets.
Let me ask a question, because it's not you're not asking the right questions, because it's a lack of the technology here. Like, someone can't take the computer and get the cryptos, right? Unless it's on an exchange. Now the exchange is like in possession of your cryptos. So it would be better to ask them as a broker. Let's just take Bitcoin, for example.
Okay.
Dick Alghair buys Bitcoin and keeps it with Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown says, we'll hold your Bitcoin. Now, do they keep it in cold storage? Meaning, do they just keep it in seed form? Or do they keep it on the computers and leave it vulnerable? Because if it's in seed form, good luck getting that.
Okay,
the Australian government will never be able to get it.
Well, let's ask. Do you keep it in seed form? No.
So does he feel that it's vulnerable? Like the does the CEO feel that Dick Alghair's cryptos are vulnerable to either the government or hacking?
Are the cryptos vulnerable to hacking? Yes. Are the cryptos vulnerable to the government? Yes, because if they get shut down and they can no longer operate, right? And we're talking about what he's showing me is they can potentially go to jail as well, right? Let me ask, what do you mean by, because he's showing me a jail cell. So what do you mean about potentially going to jail? What? Okay. I don't understand the ins and outs of what they're doing here. I can only report to you what they're saying to me. I don't have anything held at Caleb and Brown. I don't get that they're bad people by any stretch of the imagination. I don't. I think the big threat here is from the government. And I'm saying, what do you mean? Because he's telling me, because it is potentially what they're doing is illegal.
Okay, fine. We all know that cryptos are shady in the eyes of the government. Let's go in a different direction here, okay? So I don't think that's going to happen anytime in the immediate future. You know, it looks like Australia is kind of busy at the moment. There's a lot of people working for them. I was just scrolling through their website, and under About section, they have like what seems like 30, 40 people, you know, professional looking people. And where do they get all this money from? Like, not like, where do they get? I mean, that's a lot of salaries, right? And they have to have a professionalism. I'm sure they have an expensive office. How much are they making compared to how much they're holding for the customer?
Are you like, making a ton of money? Yeah, they're making a ton of money. They're making a fortune. They invest themselves, by the way. So do you take your earnings and invest it in crypto? No. Okay. But you individually invest. Yes. Okay. So how are you making money? Off the percentages. Okay. So
what kind of percentage? How much is a percentage of one customer's crypto?
How much of a percentage of, just give me a value, like say maybe one Bitcoin. How much of a percentage would you take of that? 3. I'm getting around 3%. Would you take any more than that? No. But how much are you holding at Caleb and Brown? Like how many trends? Okay, millions and millions and millions. How many?
Yeah, of course, millions, but that's not a lot of money. 3% of $1 million is $30,000. So, you know, that's
but if you have millions of
salary
people
on a low end, millions of people. No, there's not a lot of millions of people at Caleb and Brown. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't add up. Unless they all got in early, they all bought. Okay, go ahead.
They're saying differently, Craig. They're saying, do you have a lot of customers? Yes. How many customers do you have? 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000, more. They've got a lot of customers. So if you think
what's the average investment? What's the average investment of one customer?
Was the average investment 50,000?
All right, so $50,000 times how many customers? 1 million customers? Does he have 1 million customers?
Do you have 1 million? No, lower.
Do you have 500,000 customers?
No, lower.
300,000?
Roughly, yeah.
Times 300,000. 50,000 times 300,000. Oh, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 15 billion.
In there.
That's 15 billion.
I feel it's like
15 billion times 3%.
But in consideration, they probably had previous members that are no longer there.
50 million.
That's probably current.
Right? Let me just check. I'll tell you what. I'm about to look, guys. I'm going to open up my own brokerage. If you're interested in letting me hold your cryptos for you, that's good money. All right, 50,000. I just never did the math, so now I'm understanding how they make some money.
Yeah.
So
let's ask this. could you technically run off with all the, okay, I know they would never do that. He's like, we'd never do that. Okay, I know that.
They don't have to. Now they're making money. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah.
3%
But
is
I'm
pretty good.
asking the question, technically, if you were to cut and run, right, pack up, move operations, everybody leaves, everything, could you do that? Of course we could. And could you take all the crypto with you? Not the ones that are held in wallets.
You
Does
hear
that
that,
make
guys?
sense?
I've been saying it the whole time. Keep your seeds, not your wallet. I'm telling you, if it's your seeds, no one can take it from you. That's the magic of cryptos. Everything else sucks. Anyways, so
Are you like, oh, so what I don't understand is, so say we all invested, you know, Bitcoin with Caleb and Brown, just say. So do they lump all of our investments together? Oh, okay. So they lump everything together and they put it on the exchange? Yes, under their own. So they lump everything together. So basically they're a crypto whale, right? They're a crypto whale. And then what they're, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Then what they're
Yeah.
doing is they're making loads of interest. Okay. So say you have, so somebody who has, just say for instance, like say 1 billion Shiba compared to somebody who's got like 250 million Shiba, they're going to make more in interest on the 1 billion Shiba, right? They're going to gain. So what I feel like they're doing, you see, he's telling me that's right. They're lumping everything together and then they're making a ton of interest. Now, say they took 250 million Shiba Inu, they put it all together with everybody else's. Well, the interest on that is going to be massive, right?
What do you mean the interest? What do you mean the interest? Who's paying the interest?
Well, I mean, I say that you know, the earnings on that's going to be massive, but I'm saying, do you redistribute the earnings back out into the wallets? No. So you hold it on the exchange? Yes. So I see what they're doing. They basically lump it together with everybody and they're like, this is a crypto whale right here. And so
Okay.
I don't know how they're doing it because I'm not technologically savvy, as you all know. Like I can barely function, but it seems like they don't just hold do you hold these accounts individually? No, they lump it together. So I don't know what that does in the grand scheme of things.
It doesn't make, all right, let me give you what you should do instead of putting it off with an Australian people that could run off with your money. Technically, I'm sure they're very nice people and I'm sure they'll never do this, but this is what someone like Michael Saylor does. This is what it applies to stocks as well. When you're a billionaire, okay, and you're Jeff Bezos and people say, well, why don't Jeff Bezos pay taxes? Well, they don't have that kind of cash. They don't actually make money. What they do is they have a publicly traded company. They own a particular amount of shares in that company, and the shares is classified as an asset. As the asset grows in value, now their valuation is a billionaire. You know what I mean? Now they're worth all that money. But the second they sell one share, okay, that's called realized gains. So now they realized profit, okay? But right now it's not, they only own shares. They don't own cash. So they never pay taxes on it. So how do they ever spend it? They borrow against it, the same way you would borrow if you had a house. You own a house free and clear, they can't really tax you on that. They can do property taxes, but that's a different thing. If you borrow against it and you have a mortgage, the debt is tax free. So since Bitcoin is an asset as well, it's classified as an asset, you have your Bitcoin and you borrow against it, okay? And now you have your money and it's also hedged. So if you have, let's just say 50, they loan you 50%, and right now it's trading at $60,000. So they'll lend you $30,000. Now you have $30,000 tax-free debt. You pay a little interest on that. You know what? If you're a billionaire, probably 1% interest right now. Call it 5% interest. That's how much they have to pay, and it's tax-free. So when they're a brokerage, that would be the smart place to have an enormous amount of value there and borrow against it. But I don't know how they would do that or why they would. I don't really understand the interest part, because what I'm talking about is what people should do. What Caleb and Brown probably do is they have so many cryptos they manage, the Sheen, the Dogecoin, the Shiba, the Ethereum, the 1 billion cryptos that are out there. They probably organize all of that somehow, some way. And that to me would be the only value that I would seek, because I don't even really want to fuck with cryptos sometimes because there's so many of them, and I have no option but to keep them on the exchange, because I don't even know what a Shiba wallet is, or Dogecoin wallet. I don't even want a Dogecoin wallet. You don't even get, you say how many, you have 30, 40 wallets. So that's to me the real value of Caleb and Brown. You keep it all consolidated at a professional company. They're going to organize it for you, tell you your portfolio, your account balance, and they're going to keep it, nice and neat and organized. But how they make money on interest, that's where I'm getting lost, because you can't lend against it, right? Or can you?
Do you lend against your no?
Do they borrow against it?
Do you borrow against it? They borrowed a lot of money. Do you
borrow it and use it as collateral? They use cryptos as collateral?
Do you borrow and use these cryptos as collateral? No. I think their startup costs and certainly their IT costs are through the roof. Do you make a lot of money? Yeah, they make a lot of money. Are your employees paid very well? Are they paid very well? Average. So you don't pay them extremely well? No. But how do
they're on Australia, man. They don't need any money.
What, they just throw a shrimp on the Barbie? I mean, come on. No, I mean,
yeah.
Look, my cousins, right? My cousins have like mediocre jobs and they live reasonably well, but they pay a lot in taxes. And it's just an accepted thing. My thing is, how can this company operate and get away with not paying taxes to Australia? Because Australia is ruthless. I mean, you only have to watch.
Let's ask.
Seriously.
So, because it makes sense. Cryptos are not income. You can only tax income. If you keep it in crypto form and you never sell it, you've never realized gains. If one Bitcoin doubles in value, if you never sold it, you've never realized that value. So there's no tax. So we have to know more about Australian tax law, and I'm sure it's favorable. I'm sure them being out there is by design, but we don't know about it, so we can't make assumptions. When you earn income, earned income is taxable. Non-earned income you cannot tax.
Yes, but people are definitely are people pulling cash out all the time? See, there you go. People are pulling cash out. Are they paying taxes on it? We don't know. What about in their home countries? Are they paying? That's up to them, you see? But how come they're able to pull cash out? They've made gains with your company and they're not paying taxes in Australia. We're tax avoidant.
Yeah, tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is illegal. So they're tax avoidant. That's actually that's a very particular, that's good. That's good. They know what they're doing. All right, let's go in a different direction, because I think they're a good company. I don't think that there's anything wrong that they're doing. I don't think they're going to run off with the money, and they're making good money, right? 3% is reasonable, and that's a lot of money if it's, $15 billion. But let me ask you something. So we made a video a couple of days ago about the end of Bitcoin, okay? Mm-hmm. The end of cryptos. Can we do a time movement and see if they still exist?
Yeah, let's do that. So what do you want to do? You want to move to what, January 1st, 2024?
Yeah.
Okay. January 1st. Now, a lot of people say, Liz, you're not doing remote viewing. Well, yes, I am. But where people are painstakingly writing everything down on paper and doing I don't do that. I do all the legwork in my head. I don't need to write it down. I bypass being a natural psychic and learning the psychic version of remote viewing. I bypass all the ideograms, all that stuff. I don't need to use an ideogram to make contact with the target, right? And then say, well, this is red and this is blue. No, I as a psychic, I just bypass those non-psychic formalities, even though Lynn Buchanan and all them are psychic. But anyway, January 1st, 2024. Are you still in business? Yes. Are you still in business as Caleb and Brown? No. So
Do cryptos, do
I'm viewing
cryptos,
this Jackson Zhang. Okay, he's the CEO. He's the one of the founders. So what happened with the cryptos? They're all gone. You see, I keep getting this. What I just keep getting, they're all gone. So why are they gone? Was it a government regulation? No, fraud. Again, fraud. Okay, so
we get
is it that
specifics? What fraud?
do you have specifics? See, I keep getting this every single time. They give me the symbol of the whole globe, and then like the whole, the whole crypto world is up in smoke, right? I just keep getting this over and over and over. Now,
When
I don't
does it
like,
happen?
when does it happen? 2023? Oh, hold on. When does it happen? Did this happen in 2023? Okay. So we've done this time movement. He said last year. I've got him at January 1st, 2024. So he's done it in 2023. It's happened in 2023. Yes. Who did it? Who's responsible? No one knows.
Does he think China did it?
Do you think China did it? No. Do you think
How
it's
can
a
it be all
professional hacking?
cryptos?
How can it be all cryptos? Again, it's the same answer. Like a massive event takes place and everybody loses confidence. So it's like the housing market, right? Say everybody wants to move to this one area and the houses are worth a lot of money. But then they find out, say something in that area is toxic, something's poisonous, something whatever. And then everybody's scrambling because say there's carcinogenics in the soil and whatever in the water. And so the houses end up being worth nothing because nobody has any confidence to live there. Do you see what I mean? It's like the same thing.
So let's apply this, right? So he's still in business, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if you've made a lot of money in cryptos and cryptos went south, what is now the new asset that everyone, is it silver and gold? Has everyone reverted back to precious metals?
Okay. Has everybody reverted back to precious metals? No. Is it currency trading? Currency trading. I feel like currency trading.
Yeah, for traders, but where do people put their money to have to own assets?
Where do people put their money that own assets? He says they put it wherever they want. He's funny.
What's the price of silver in 2024, January 2024?
What's the price of silver in January 2024? Hold on. What's the price of, I'm going to use somebody else. I'm going to use this Dr. Prash because he's getting a little stale. I don't know if this guy's a drinker or what. I don't know. Dr. Prash on January 1st, 2024. Yeah. Okay. Go for it. He said, what's the price of silver? It's high. Is it more than 30 US dollars? It's around 30 to 35. Okay. Well, that's higher than what it is now. Are people putting their money in silver or gold? No. What are people putting their money into? Banks. What? Come on. Banks, what? They're reinvesting in stocks and shares? Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm driving at. That's perfect. That's great. So when cryptos go south, okay, that would mean the best, from what it sounds like, the best thing to own is an S&P 500, like a basket of the top 500 companies. So in other words, what it sounds like is you made a ton of money on cryptos, you cash out in 2022, then you buy the S&P 500 or SPY, which is a derivative of that. Yeah. So you're going to spend $450 right now for, you know, for one, you know, share of that, wait till 2024, you know, ride up the Bitcoin wave a little bit more, then cash out. 2022 and change comes around, buy a bunch of the S&P 500, wait a couple of years because the timelines always change, and then you're gonna hold on to your crypto, your crypto wealth, your everything that you've made. You'll be able to kind of ride the S&P 500 and then borrow against it like the billionaires.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting that. Has there been a worldwide crypto crash? Yeah. Have loads of people lost loads of money? And he's saying no, because they never had money. And I'm like, well, yeah, but they had to invest in order to buy cryptos. Yes, but so you're saying that it wasn't tangible? No, he's saying no, it's not tangible. So were those people able to retrieve their money? Some were. How were they able to retrieve? Cold storage. Cold storage? What does that mean?
Interesting. It just means that they're not on an exchange. So it's the exchanges that get disrupted.
These are the exchanges that, yes. Yeah. Is it because they're heavily regulated? No.
It goes back to what you say, keep your seeds.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that, actually. All right, I have a theory. This is what I'd say, and I said this in this Bitcoin ending video. It's just what bubbled up in my head. It's not like anything I've been working on. It's just a science fiction. If China has a quantum computer, okay, and they know they can disrupt the Bitcoin crypto market, they're not going to just do it as soon as they can. They're first going to ban it in their own country, so they're not going to hurt their own publicly traded companies and their own citizens and so on and so forth. Give everyone enough time to get out, let's just say a year or two. Let the United States and other countries adopt it further, and then they're going to hit them. They're going to hit them and make it look like it was nothing, that had they had anything to do with it, but at least they weren't affected, and it's just going to further bolster their position in the economic market, right? The international market. So now what I'm hearing is that the exchanges get hit, and that makes more sense because Bitcoin, you know, even with a quantum computer, I mean, if a quantum computer jumped on the Bitcoin network, it would pretty much make it invincible, you know, as far as we can imagine. But I guess, like, if all the exchanges get hit at once, I mean, there's vulnerabilities on every level with an exchange, because if an exchange has one computer, if you're at Caleb and Brown, okay, and you're operating this, what you think is this perfectly encrypted, tight-knit system, but you're using an operating system, and that operating system is Windows. And the federal government can access your Windows computer at any moment. Okay?
I have a question.
So the government can get onto the exchange of the operating system and hack everybody. So who's to say China couldn't do that on the exchanges? So there's another vulnerability I never even thought of. Yeah, what's your question, Graham?
What about the insurance? That's all right. What about the insurance? Will they honor that? Because all these like top 8 or top 10 exchanges are covered.
That's a Liz question.
They're
Bankruptcy.
Insured,
Bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Listen, what about when these companies have crashed before and people have lost loads of money and bankruptcy? What happened with, what was it when those crashes happened in 2009 and the government, listen, no government is going to bail out the crypto market. Okay. It's just
Right.
not going to happen. They hate cryptos. There's no way they're going to bail out these brokerages and these exchanges. It's not, they hate them. Look at what they're doing to Binance. They hate Binance. They hate all of this, right? So they're not going to bail them out. Insurance technically doesn't have to pay. Who's going to enforce that by law? How can you even enforce that? Okay, you've got to find the country that they're even operating out of. Like someone like you and me, like us, right? how are we going to sue a company like that? I mean, they're going to have loads of money. The insurance companies are going to have loads of money. You cannot take on these law firms. Okay, it's going to have to take a really collective, class action suit. And even then, what lawyer is going to take on a class action suit? They're not. I'm getting that very clearly. They're not. So
No, you need
when
money to
they
sue
say
'em.
that, when they
I
say
think,
that,
uh-huh.
hold on. When they say, I'm asking Spirit, when they say that they're insured, are these exchanges insured? No. No, that's false. They're not technically by law. Are they insured by law? No, no, it's just something to, it's like a false confidence. They can insure a little bit at a time, right? So say there's a hacking, people lose their money, the
It
exchange,
won't
like,
be covering everybody. It's impossible to
no,
cover everybody. Just a
they
few
can't.
people here and there.
Yeah. So
Okay,
when there's
wait,
a
let's,
small hacking,
yeah.
okay, Binance can cover, or Coinbase or whatever can cover the small amount, that has been hacked, right? And some people say, well, 1,000 people is not small. Well, in the grand scheme of things, it is. But if you wipe out the every exchange all at once, because that's what I keep getting, it's all going to
Reminds
be
me
at
of
once.
Hurricane Andrew. The insurance companies couldn't cover everything. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I
Okay,
just don't get that it's insured.
So let's keep going further with it. Okay, so the cold storage people can recover their cryptos. Okay.
Yes, but then it's
So
worthless because nobody wants cryptos anymore.
that's what I was going to drive at. So it wouldn't be worthless if it's just the exchanges that are worthless. So let's fast forward. Can we fast forward like 3 or 4 years and see if cryptos kind of bounce back?
Okay, let's, what, 2027?
Yeah.
January 1st, 2027. Have cryptos bounced back? No, gone completely.
What's replaced them?
What's replaced them? Nothing. Everybody's scared.
What's the best asset to own?
What's the best asset to own? Stock market.
Has Dick Alghair shot any of your employees? has he has he gone postal in your firm?
What
Don't
is Dick
ask that. I'm
Alghair?
joking.
Let's ask Dick.
Let's
No.
ask Dick Alghair how much money he has after, because I know that I did a Lonvo, whatever his psychic is, and she's like, yeah, get out before everyone else. So I know she had to tell him the same thing. So let's ask Dick if he correctly predicted exiting the market at a certain point.
How about exiting Caleb?
Exiting the whole thing, getting out with cash and buying the
What-
stock market. But he
What was
doesn't
his,
believe it. Uh-huh.
what was his prediction?
This is his, okay, so they did remote viewing. They're not psychics. They asked what will be the end of, like, kind of like the United States currency stuff as we know it, and then it's going to transition to cryptos. Because he's been about cryptos from a long time ago. There's this image of the people, what looked like a court setting, or like like a government structure, and then there's a guy bent over in suits, and it kind of looked like it was the end. And then it looks like everything transitions over to crypto, and there's all these cryptos that can apply to banking, and it just looks like a future technology. So with that, he sees from the data, from the remote viewing data, that cryptos are going to be the future, right? But what we're saying, still, his remote viewing data still applies, because they also saw the coronavirus, they saw all these things, but it could still happen. It's the end of the currency as we know it, but it just means it's going to be worth less. You know what I mean? And then the cryptos eventually die out, but all of it still applies. So he's kind of misled because he doesn't have a complete picture. And as we could be as well. I'm just saying that he's going by an assumption from his remote viewing data that this is going to be the future. So let's ask him
Well,
if he's gotten out. I mean, Lon Vo had to
he
have told him what she told me. So
he also said something to the effect, and I don't know this for sure. I just know what people message me, that Tom Hanks was into devil worshiping. I'm like, no, that's wrong. Not even close to that. Anyway, what are we asking? What are we
well,
asking?
he seems to be intertwined with the government. We're asking Dick Alghair if he got his money out before crypto's
Get your
crashed.
money before cryptos.
Ask him 2024.
2024, January 1st, 2024. Did you get your money out before cryptos crashed? No, he lost a lot. No. Did you think
Is
that
he,
the crypto crash was coming? No.
when we call it a crypto crash, what should we call it? Ask him specifically what happened
What
where
happened?
cryptos became worthless.
They were stolen. See, I keep getting
How can
that.
it be stolen? How can it be stolen?
Were the exchanges shut down? No. Everything's wiped off the exchanges. Again, it's the same. Well, listen, how
What's the
many
theory?
people,
What's the dominant theory of how it
what's
happened?
the dominant theory of how it happened? A hacking group. I keep how many people have we viewed now? We have viewed so many different people and we always get the same answer. And then even when we did that Hitomi, channeling Hitomi, and that was only for the Patreon people,
What's the
it
price
was a
of
similar
Bitcoin when
thing.
that happens? What's the price of Bitcoin when it happens?
What's the price of Bitcoin when that happened? I'm getting like around 110. Around
What's the highest
110.
price of Bitcoin? What's the highest price of Bitcoin it ever was?
100 what? What's the highest price of Bitcoin that ever was before January 1st, 2024? 135.
So it peaks and then goes down. So, there's a little imagery. Now, just for anyone watching this, we've done a lot of price prediction stuff and the
Yeah, it's
accuracy.
difficult.
There's a lot that actually is very accurate, I have to say, but I will just run up with, we could be off. So, for whatever reason, so I guess
Well, price
110,000 is a good price to get out.
price predictions need their own remote viewing session. Like somebody yesterday put on the Patreon, maybe we'll round another zero. And as I'm typing the reply, I said, well, maybe. I got a strong no. We weren't going to round another zero on Shiba Inu yesterday. And I just, so it just depends, really. It depends on a lot of different factors. Believe it or not, it depends on the phases of the moon. Okay, so closer to a full moon, the more psychic I am. And that's a well-known fact among psychics. 3 days leading up to the full moon, I'm on fire, right? As soon as that full moon hits and it starts to wane again, the accuracy tends to go down. They're so, and this is why I said, on the remote viewing modifications for all page on Facebook, has anybody mixed modalities with remote viewing and astrology? Because it's so important, right? It really is. But the old sweat remote viewing crowd will not mix modalities at all. I'm all for mixing modalities because it makes it a lot more powerful. So there's a lot of factors in play when trying to predict price points. It's, did you eat well that day? Are you stressed out? Are you not feeling well? Is it close to the full moon? Is it a waxing moon? Is it a waning moon? There's a lot of factors that come into play. Where are you on the globe? Is the energy good where you are? There's a lot of things that go into that.
Okay, so what else can we do with Caleb and Brown here? Because I have my personal strategy. It's not trading advice, not financial advice, but I'm going to ride up Bitcoin to a number. I'll reevaluate when it hits, let's just say 80, 90, 100. Each step, I'll just reevaluate what I want to do. But $100,000 of Bitcoin, I made a lot of money. I'm going to cash out. Then I'm going to convert it to the S&P 500. And then I'm going to sell covered calls. So that's my personal strategy. And is there any chance that we're wrong? It's like when I run these theories with people who are diehard Bitcoin people, I got one, his name is Mark. He's really funny. He's like, what are you going to turn it into, a dollar? It's like, oh, I heard of that before. That's what everyone used to use back in the day, a dollar. A dollar. Yeah, no. Cryptos are the future. That's all I understand. So it's like Bitcoin has really been tried and true. It has withstand a lot of pushback, governments. Remember the Silk Road in the beginning? People just used it to buy drugs and stuff. And it's like when you start talking about the end of Bitcoin, it kind of feels like it went already through the fire and now it's gaining widespread adoption. So is there any chance we're wrong? I mean, governments are starting to adopt it. Publicly traded companies are putting it on their balance sheet. They're getting rid of the dollars, as my friend put it. You know, it's like, is there any chance that we're not seeing this right?
I mean, there's always a chance that we don't see it right. Right. When you look at making future predictions like this, what happens is, and crypto viewing are a prime example. Okay. They had a few hits on a few cryptos, and so they gained everybody's confidence, right? This isn't a dig at crypto viewing, it's a dig at the dark. So what happens is everybody starts relying upon these predictions. And the way I do my predictions are different now. I score them. I do a timeline, remote viewing timeline, and I score them. But I've gone into the reasons why I do that, and that's all in the Patreon. But so they gained everybody's confidence. They had a few really good predictions. People were making money off the cryptos, and then suddenly everybody starts piling hundreds of thousands of dollars into certain cryptos that they're recommending. And what happens? It ended up being like a pump and dump scenario, and people lost tons of money. Okay. Now that's a tool of the dark. The dark love that. When you are putting out future prediction, I've said this time and time again, when you're putting out future predictions like doom and gloom predictions, the dark love that because it scares people, and scaring people and
That's what we're
fear.
doing.
I know, and I don't like it. To be honest with you, I didn't anticipate we were going to talk about that today. I just thought we were talking about Caleb and Brown. But, I don't like it. It scares people.
They're linked. They're completely
Well,
linked.
they are linked.
I mean, because we're talking about the Australian government shutting them down. I'm like, well, wait, how many years is that in the future?
Mm.
You know what I
See,
mean? So where does it even relevant?
The way I do it, because what happens is, say you make a prediction. Okay, so you make a prediction, say Bitcoin. Now this is not a prediction, this is hypothetical talk. Say tomorrow I'm gonna make it so outrageous that it will never happen. Tomorrow Bitcoin's gonna reach $200,000. So what happens is you get everybody piling their money based upon that prediction. But with that prediction and all these people joining collectively and placing their money, even though they're operating as separate entities, they're still a collective. They're bringing all their money blocks into that prediction. Okay. And so when you're doing specific price points, that's what happens. And then the dark will crash that prediction, and all these people lose money. And also the soul will put blockages in the way, so you lose out because it's just the way it is. The soul, we all have so many money blocks, and like I've said before, the CTT is the only way to remove those money blocks that I know. And so that's how these price point predictions can go badly, very badly. So I don't do price point predictions. I do a scoring method. And the scoring method is like on a probability of this, and so it keeps people separate. Because when listen, that's why ARV fails. ARV is so unreliable. And for those of you that don't know, associative remote viewing is so unreliable. You start out doing great, and then all your emotions get involved, and everybody's emotions get involved. And because those emotions are getting involved, all their money blocks come into play. And once the money blocks come into play, all your predictions start crashing down, and your percentage rate starts going lower and lower and lower and lower, right? That's because when the emotions start getting involved, people are getting excited about their potential earnings, just like on a price point, right? When they're getting excited about it, that's when the money blocks are like, actually, you were, you know, you made a vow of poverty in a previous life. And that's why something happens and the prediction will crash down. So it's not a good price point. Predictions are not good. And if you think about the other psychics out there, like Michelle White Dove, her using her color code thing, that's a really good way of doing it. She's saying, okay, on a guide, you know, on this guide, you can, this is what I'm predicting, but I'm not going to give you like a specific amount, because as soon as you start throwing those specific amounts out there, people get crazy. They do. They get crazy.
Well, White Dove's new, she said Theta made a lot of people money, and then she had another one that we did a long time ago. White Dove P, gosh, starts with a P. Graham, what was it called?
Polygon?
Lost Graham. No. But we should ask like what the price of that is at the crypto. Let me see. Get rich coin.
It's strange how this stuff works, and you really have to understand how energy works. And by doing the CTT, persistence, yes, that's right.
What's the price of persistence at the crypto crash?
What's the price of it now?
Well, I wanted to keep it, let me see. Persistence.
So I usually start, is it higher or lower than today's price point?
I want to tell you what it is right now. $9.90.
Is it higher or lower from today's price point, January 1st, 2024? Lower, it's gone. Okay, let's go like January 1st, 2023. At today's price point of $9.93, is it higher or lower? Much higher. There you go. And I just viewed her. So see, again, you don't want to get into the whole price point thing, but is it more than 15? It's roughly 15, maybe, give or take. But so yeah, you don't want to get into the price point thing, because the price point makes people crazy. Then they want to be like these amateur day traders, and they want to, you know, short the market, and they want to do this and they want to do that, and then all their blocks come into play. They play around with far too much money. First of all, they're playing around with their own money, which is never good. And second of all, they're playing around with far too much money, because they're like, well, and then what happens when the price point fails? Then, you know, everybody comes with daggers at the crypto viewing.
Well, that's what I'm driving at. So White Dove has this, you know, announcement essentially that this is your new get rich coin, when Theta made everyone rich. So how does she feel in 2024? Did she see the crash of Bitcoin?
No.
Are you the only one who sees it?
No. Hitomi saw it. I thought you said Lanvo said get out.
Yeah, right. She said get out before everyone else does. Yeah. But she also, I can't say that she was a real psychic from my perspective. She was good at reading, I think, my mind a little bit, because, you know, she was able to pull things from me, but certain things she said didn't add up, like, as time went on. And she also, like, oh wow, persistence is now $10.27. It just went up like crazy as we're talking about it.
But it depends, again, that depends what kind of psychic you're dealing with. Okay, I've put videos out about this. Are they psychic? Are they a medium? Or are they a genuine psychic medium? Right? And that's what you have to do when you're shopping around. Now, I don't know what she is, right? She could be a psychic and not a medium. Are you a medium? No, she's not a medium. She's a psychic. She doesn't channel. Well, right there, that cuts
gave
off.
A really good reading. She put on she did I could tell she did an astrology element to it.
Yeah.
She didn't tell you about it, but I've heard my same astrology report from like different over my lifetime, and it's always been the same. And I've heard she started with that as if that was her psychic thing. So my bullshit flag kicked in right away. I was like, oh.
That's
Then she read my palm over the internet, and then she got into the reading itself. And the reading was like, it was almost like she just knew what I was thinking, not like what the future was. And since she was kind of all over the place like that, when she started with the astrology stuff, I just thought she's misleading me. That was the first impression I got. Well,
yeah, because
why didn't you tell me that you're doing an astrology
you can use a software program and pull up somebody's astrology chart. I mean, and then you're just no, look, it's more than that, right? If you go to a psychic or like if you go to a psychic and they're start reading astrology charts, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Okay. You're paying how much for? No, you can print out your own astrology chart. This is why you've got to know what type of psychic they are before you get the reading. And it's very important to get the psychic medium. Okay. That's the creme de la creme. Now, fortunately, thank you, mom, grandma, and great grandma, right? Because I'm fourth generation. I am a psychic medium. I did not go to remote viewing to become psychic. Okay. I went to remote viewing because I am a psychic medium. I didn't need remote viewing to be a psychic medium, right? I'd already been flown to international crime scenes, working on cases and giving readings for years, right? Channeling, doing all this stuff. The only thing that remote viewing does, it sharpens the data. So from this time to this time, this is going to happen, right? You can pin down dates and times, which is what we've been doing today. But I'm not doing it on see, a volcano erupting, but I don't know where it's going to be. And I don't know. That's BS. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm calling BS on that.
No, it's all right. We don't have to bash her. I was just
great. No. But
it was just that she didn't see.
Listen, people. No, listen, people find, they find that fascinating in hindsight. To me, if you're going for a reading, you want the full Monty, right? And that's for one of my patrons using that.
You have good value.
But
you have good value.
But, okay, you want to know what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
You have to find the psychic you're going to. If you're going to somebody who's psychic and not a medium, well, it's very difficult to get answers about your future. Okay, because really answers about your future, you need to channel that from a loved one in spirit. It just depends. If you're going to a tarot card reader, there are great tarot card readers out there, but you're not going to get the full array of information. See, Craig, you had come to me a few times before you had Lanvo. And then, so I guess from the information you got from me, and then the information of somebody reading out an astrology chart was, very different. Now, I also know that
so there's some feedback there.
After they've had a reading.
There's some feedback for you on that. And actually, you just said, I didn't want to go into Lanvo. I just brought her up because of the Dick Alghair connection to Bitcoin's connection to Caleb Brown. It was kind of all in this big picture. But I will say, having readings done with you and having readings done with her, everything that you said ended up on a long enough timeline came true. On a few things that I remember that didn't come true, I was asking her, am I going to get this property in Jacksonville? I was really into this property in Jacksonville. And you said no, and she said yes.
No,
or she said, I'm seeing you get something up north. Little things like that, right? And I don't remember every little detail, but she was able to like pull in my friend that died, my dog that died, and things that I thought about, but it didn't. I don't know. She could have just been pulling my. Listen, we don't have to go into it. I was just saying you're right about the accuracy.
Hold on, but see, that's where that type of psychic matters, because over that property in Jacksonville, I kept telling you no, and you're like, I'm not listening to that. I'm doing, and I thought, well, he'll find out. And I said to you, it's got plumbing problem, like major plumbing issues. No, 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 I can do, listen, you admit it. No, 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 I like fixer uppers. I like this, I like that. I said, no, but Craig, it's major. This is a major, major issue. Well, what happened? It was operating on like one septic tank and there were two. I
No,
can't
that's not
remember.
what it was. That's not what it
What was
was.
it?
It was
Tell me.
the city was all over that property
Yeah.
because they had evicted someone, and that years before, and the eviction, she kept the woman being evicted kept calling the city on every little thing. So they just went around and wrote up a bunch of violations, and yet needed new roofs. And I could fix a roof, but they wanted it done with a contractor. So it's something that would have cost me $10,000 would have cost me $110,000 doing it through
But
these licensed people, and they just killed the property in that light because
but if you remember,
it's too expensive.
there was a big problem with either like there was a well or a septic tank. I can't remember now.
Yes, there was plumbing issues.
told
I just was confident. I was confident, and I did also get messages about plumbing issues. But the truth is, we won't get feedback on that because I didn't buy it. But it appeared to be functional. It's just, it's one of those things where
because the city would have made you hire these professionals to, there was something to do with either it only had one
with
septic
water.
tank or one well, and they would have made you, and it was going to cost you through, I told you, it was like major
It
plumbing
had to have been
problems.
the well because the septic tank is a hole in the ground. The
Okay.
well, it's like there was something to do with the fresh water coming in. And I got a message. If anyone wants to try this, it was really interesting. But I asked, what would it take to get this property the way I wanted it? And I had this vision of everything being rented out and all this money coming in. And I had a vision when I was sleeping of water, filtered water flowing everywhere, a fountain in the front lawn, like water. It was like water everywhere, but it wasn't draining. It was like an abundance of water, like clean, fresh water. And that did go with what you're saying. But since I didn't buy the property, we will never really know, 100%. It's kind of like guessing a little bit. But listen, you were right about a lot of other things. Even remember that toilet problem I had in that video?
What? All my predictions are in the toilet. No, go on.
It's
Sorry.
funny, but like with the stocks that we've done, SRNE, I put out stock. This is actually what relates to this video, and I wanted to keep it on Caleb Brown. But we did stock predictions when they were hot and everyone's talking about it. SRNE, Lordstown Motors, right? Ride. So I would put out the video in those Reddit forums, like the SRNE forum or the Lordstown Motor, the Ride forum. And I'd get bombarded. Psychic, oh, this place is crazy now. All the crazies are coming in. And I'm like, okay. So then I'd do a follow-up video with you later on. And I'm like, everything's come true. So
well,
it's like, if let's just
we'll
say
see.
you're the best bullshitter in the world, right? There's talent, there's merit to that too. If everything she says is true, does it matter if she says she's psychic or not, right? So all the Lordstown Motor stuff ended up coming true. The prices ended up coming true. SRNE, all that stuff ended up coming true. And I get so much shit for it in the beginning. It's like,
well,
I mean, I get it. I was the same way,
but
it's
back to Caleb
Mhm.
and Brown. I mean, they can, yeah, because I'm gonna have to run. We got to go trick or treat. The rain has stopped. Oh my gosh! So we got to make trick or treat while we can. But back to Caleb and Brown. I don't feel that it's them that are dodgy. I just feel I understand the red flags now. I mean, even when you mention their name to me, I would like, oh my God, I would get nervous, right? Because there's something not right there. That I get that a lot when there's something not right. As a parent, when somebody comes around your kids, even at the park or wherever you are, and you get that, that nervous red flag flying, trust that.
Mhm.
Trust that. I actually had my kids playing one day, and some lady came up talking to me, and she seemed really nice. Her kids were the same age as mine. And I swear to God, the Grim Reaper showed up, right? Stood there and gave me this stark warning. And I was like, what the hell was that? So anyway, I, got my kid out of there, whatever, we left. And then years later, I found out, well, she was a child molester, and she, had exposed herself to children. And I'm like, God, really?
She was a flasher.
Yeah.
She had a raincoat on, and she, hey.
Yeah, really.
Hey, quick question back to Caleb and Brown.
Trust those instincts. Trust them.
Quick question.
But with Caleb and Brown, with Caleb and Brown, I had red flags, and I'm like, I got to trust my instincts, right? And I think that there's just so many probabilities there with the Australian government. I just think, I'm not saying don't invest. I'm not saying they're bad people, but I'm saying for me personally, I just think there's too many.
After this, I got a good impression from them, knowing how much money they make on the 3%. But let me ask you something, right? This is going to take it all back to Dick Alghair, Caleb, Bitcoin, all that, because we get a little off topic. So let's flash one of those two CEOs or the founder, and I want to ask if they know Dick Alghair, because maybe he's brought in some business. Or perhaps he just knows like a salesman there, and they're like, yeah, call up Jason over there, Caleb and Brown, because maybe he has a good relation. Ask if they know him. They don't even know him?
No.
Because I was going to get at the remote viewing stuff, since it's kind of like, psychics and remote viewing aren't exactly popular and so like looked down upon. I was curious if they were going to, what they would think of Dick Alghair a little bit, if they knew his going-ons.
They're anti-psychic. They're anti. Do you believe in psychics? No. Do you believe in predictions? No. Anti. These are businessmen. Listen.
Yeah.
These are businessmen.
They don't even know Dick Alghair. So
no, it takes a really special kind of person to to accept this information, to accept that there is something bigger out there than just their self. And so for our friends and our fans and our people listening, you need to pat yourselves on the back, because you realize, hey, there is something bigger out there. There is something bigger than what I can comprehend. And those are the open people, and those are the people that are going to keep exploring their soul journey. And you know what I mean? They're not dismissive. These business guys, they're very dismissive. But on that note,
you hear that, guys? All our schizophrenic viewers out there, don't take those antipsychotics. You're special.
I got to
go on this journey with us. All right.
No. My baby Yoda is waiting. He looks so cute in his baby Yoda. I may put a picture on Patreon, but he's so sweet in his baby Yoda costume. I gotta go show him off, because we haven't been out. He was born 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, and really we haven't been anywhere, right? You're not gonna take a newborn out.
Send a picture.
I will. But you guys, I'm gonna go. You guys can keep talking, and I'm gonna go. But baby Yoda, trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Okay, guys. Bye.
All right. Bye.